New ways to make and save money, but according to the latest stats, the way we are spending our dough shows it might be impossible to ever get ahead.
The numbers are startling. 3/4 of Australians are living with debt, with 50% of us failing to save anything each month. New studies show 2 in 5 adults are living paycheck to paycheck, with the average overdrawn Aussie owing over $600 by the end of the month. But despite these figures, only 15% are actively seeking advice to improve their situation.
Our next guest says it's time to reverse those statistics. Wealth mentor Jackson Millan is encouraging Australians to become better savers by looking at their spending habits, and he's in the studio with us this morning. Jackson, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You say we need to learn what type of spender we are before we can start saving. So what do you mean by that?
So when it comes to life, we're so busy. We tend to get caught up in our day-to-day, and a lot of us are working towards something, some aspirational goal. And we're trying to define the destination without taking the time to step back and look at our feet of our current situation. So my methodology is around defining the destination, understanding where you are, and then trying to bridge the gap.
Okay. What I like is that you've come up with 7 different categories of spenders. So let's start with the first group, the worst culprits. Who are they? How can they improve their savings?
Name them. Where do they live?
So the first one's the cash splasher. This tends to be the person that probably works very hard and really likes to show off the cash that they've got.
They make it rain.
They shout drinks at the pub, they pay for dinner.
They take everybody to lunch.
Take everyone to lunch.
They get their credit card out.
Correct.
Right,
and they get gratification from that. And unfortunately, that damages the savings they've got at the end of the month.
It does.
We've definitely got the cash makes me happier. This is the person that likes to engage in a bit of retail therapy. I've been a culprit of this myself, and it's one of those things that we engage in this gratification of taking the edge off through going and buying something nice and having that nice warm feeling when we've spent that money.
Right.
What's the ignorer?
Yeah.
The ignorer is the one that tends to be in a pretty bad situation. They're what we call financial battle stage. It's where the bills may be piling up on the kitchen table. They're really trying to bury their head in the sand because they just don't want to come to terms with the harsh reality of their situation.
Yeah.
There are relatively responsible savers out there. Take us through what they can do to save more.
Yeah, so when it comes to saving, we need to firstly identify where we are and try and, I guess, come to a way of setting up a structure that supports our behaviours. So when we do that, we need to understand that for some of these people, like the points accumulators, these are the ones that are tapping their credit card, trying to rack up all of these points to get benefits.
Points mean prizes.
But banks don't give these things away for free. They do it because they feel, though, that more often than not, you're going to overspend and I guess, overdo it.
What's the Chicken Little investor?
The Chicken Little investor is, I guess, the person that tends to brag a little bit about their investment skills, but tends to be trading more often than not, and unfortunately talks more about the wins as opposed to the losses. So they might be doing more damage than good.
And finally, there are those people who like to have lots of cash stashed away. Is there any way that they can become better savers, or are they all set?
Look, the cash stasher tends to be, I guess, the older generation, the baby boomers who've experienced the global financial crisis and have maybe had a little bit of damage there and have unfortunately sat on the fence and lost out on the opportunities that have come after the financial crisis because they've had money out of the market.
Yeah, right.
And the MIDAS?
And the MIDAS, there's 2 sides to the MIDAS. The MIDAS can be the person who's doing all of the great things in building their wealth and working towards the future, or the one that believes that everything they touch turns to gold and unfortunately, I guess, has a negative perspective or the incorrect perspective on how they're spending and how they're saving and building their wealth.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you for that, Jackson. To get more of Jackson's wealth mentoring, grab a copy of his book. It's out now. It's called Enjoy the Journey, Creating Wealth and Living the Life You Desire. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you very much.